Welcome to another edition of the weekly polling update. We're going to start with a brand new Emerson poll from New Hampshire, and wow, just wait until you see this. The headline here is DeSantis fades, Trump maintains lead in primary, but I really don't think that does it justice. Trump currently holds a 40-point lead over second place candidate Chris Christie. Ron DeSantis has fallen to third with a very slight lead over Tim Scott. DeSantis really feels like Kamala Harris in 2020. She was one of the frontrunners. Some polls even showed her as the frontrunner. But she had some issues within her campaign. She peaked too soon and ultimately dropped out before a single vote was cast. I really think DeSantis might do the same. The only thing keeping this race interesting at the moment are Trump's indictments. He's either going to prison or he's going to be the GOP presidential nominee. We also have some general election polling showing Joe Biden with a decent lead. I think he's likely to win New Hampshire again in 2024, and these poll results aren't terribly surprising, but it's a good reminder that New Hampshire isn't much of a purple state for presidential elections. This poll also gives us our first real look at the 2024 gubernatorial election in New Hampshire. Incumbent Governor Chris Sununu won't seek another term. On the Democratic side, a majority of voters are undecided, but Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig leads Cindy Warmington 30-15. They are the only two candidates who have declared their candidacies. Craig has endorsements from former New Hampshire Governor John Lynch, as well as current Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey. Warmington has been endorsed by Carol Shea Porter, U.S. House Rep from New Hampshire's 1st Congressional District. On the Republican side, 45% of voters are backing former Senator Kelly Ayotte. She holds a massive 36-point lead over Chuck Morse, who ran for Senate in 2022 and narrowly lost the GOP primary to Don Bolduc. Ayotte is leading Craig and Warmington in head-to-head general election matchups, and right now should probably be considered the frontrunner to win. However, keep in mind, we're still more than a year away from this election. A lot can change, and Joe Biden may help carry the Democratic nominee to victory. Let's move on to another poll conducted by Emerson, this time in Arizona. They did surveys for the GOP primary, 2024 presidential elections, and upcoming Arizona Senate race. Starting at the top, Donald Trump once again holds a commanding lead. 58% of respondents said they'd vote for Trump, 47 more than the second place finisher, Ron DeSantis. I just really don't see how anyone is going to catch Trump at this point. And in a 2024 matchup versus Joe Biden, Donald Trump does lead by 2% or 1% when Cornel West is added. Both of these results are within the margin of error, so it is a statistical tie. This result is pretty similar to the Emerson poll in Michigan we looked at last week. Trump is polling very well right now. In the Senate race, Kari Lake is the clear GOP frontrunner, receiving 42% of the vote in this poll. The next closest is Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb, who received 11%. Lake is planning to launch her campaign in October, and it appears she will be the GOP nominee. On the Democratic side, Ruben Gallego had the support of 48% of respondents, while 40% were undecided. He is going to be the Democratic nominee. And this will likely set up a three-way race between Kari Lake, Ruben Gallego, and Kyrsten Sinema, who has filed paperwork to run as an independent in 2024. Emerson didn't poll for that three-way matchup, but they did find Gallego winning a three-way race versus Sinema and Mark Lamb, as well as Sinema and Brian Wright. In both polls, Sinema's presence hurt the GOP candidate more than Gallego. Let's shift gears a little bit. We know Trump is the frontrunner on the GOP side, but it seems like he could be in some real danger if he's convicted of a felony. 45% of Republicans say they wouldn't vote for him if he was convicted of a felony. 35% said they would vote for him. And if Trump were currently serving time in prison, 52% of Republicans said they wouldn't vote for him, while 28% said they would. If you're a Republican watching this video, leave a comment down below and let me know if you'd vote for Trump if he was convicted of a felony. Next, let's talk about some new polling out of Iowa. This poll was conducted by JL Partners for the Daily Mail. JL Partners is a bit of an unknown quantity, and the Daily Mail is a British tabloid. In 2020, JL Partners conducted an online poll showing Joe Biden winning the popular vote by 14%, so I'm really taking this result with a grain of salt. But this latest poll shows Trump with another commanding lead, well ahead of Ron DeSantis. And once again, Tim Scott is clearly in the third position. He has been polling pretty well in Iowa for about a month now, and I think it'd be newsworthy if Trump didn't have a ridiculous 25-point lead. Next, we'll take a look at YouGov's latest generic ballot poll. They found Democrats up by 2, which would be quite a good result for them on election night. In 2022, the generic ballot poll showed the GOP up by 1.2%. On election day, nationwide, Republicans won the overall House popular vote by more than 2%, which translated to a very narrow flip in the House. A 2% victory in 2024 could result in the Democrats winning back the House and holding on to some key Senate seats. And potentially some more good news for the Democrats. A new poll conducted by Alaska Survey Research shows Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in Alaska by just 7 points with 21% undecided. Alaska Survey Research is a decent pollster, but they do have a relatively large mean reverted bias in favor of the Democratic Party. I think this poll really confirms what a lot of us have been saying. Alaska is getting tighter, but it's still a likely Republican state in 2024. And the last poll we'll take a look at today is from the all-important gubernatorial election in Kentucky for 2023. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can really help this channel a lot by hitting that subscribe button below the video. Thanks! There are a couple of important results from this poll. Just keep in mind that it is an internal poll paid for by Andy Beshear, the incumbent Democratic governor, and that internal polls tend to favor the candidate or party that pays for them. And that's the case here. The poll found Beshear with a 49-41 lead over Republican challenger and current Attorney General Daniel Cameron. This same poll found Beshear with a net plus 19 approval rating, which is really, really strong. And while I don't expect an 8-point margin victory on election night, I do expect Beshear to win, and check out my next video to learn why.